Buddy Blocks and Plans Chief, Incident Management Team 3. This is your operational briefing for Monday. Just a few reminders, we do have chairs available. Please turn down your radios, any sidebar conversations. Those in the back, orange flag and past the orange flag. If you guys can hold down your conversations, we'd appreciate it. There are no changes to the current management and general control objectives. Current situational update, night operations, Eric Schwab.
Good morning. Summary for yesterday's operations. Everything in the Southwest is looking good. Continued mop up. Division Juliet, continued mop up. They're still finding some heat in there. That's probably going to need another 3 or 4 days of good mop up in there before we can call that controlled. Moving north, we had a cell come over yesterday evening, hit the L1, or we're calling it the Morgan fire now. It made it grow from about 11 acres to about 300 acres, and it threw a few spots. So we backed out of there and started regrouping, looking at some additional lines. North end is looking good. They're continuing with big box preparation. Everything in Branch 16 was looking good. The fire got a little bit active in Division Uniform Challenge 36 a little bit yesterday evening, and we were successful, didn't pick up any spots at all. Moving down into Clear Branch, we completed the firing operation on the east side of that area. It went successful, and we also supported and worked with Incident Management Team 4 and some firing and some line construction in their zone. Thank you.
Weather, Joe Grosward.
Thank you, and good morning, everyone. Red shirt, red flag. I've been talking with my colleague on the other side of the fire, and some of the local forecast offices, they do have fire weather watches up for tomorrow, but we decided, based on the expected winds this afternoon, overall conditions, the fact we're seeing rapid fire growth and plumes and all that stuff with virtually no wind, we went ahead and issued a local red flag warning starting today at 3 p.m. and we're going to continue that all the way till 10 p.m. tomorrow. So we do have a couple of very interesting weather days shaping up. Now you may be looking at this and saying, what the heck is this guy talking about? That big upper level ridge that we've been sitting under for the past couple of days is breaking down rapidly. We're going to see a trough of low pressure move onshore later today, and southwest winds are going to pick up substantially. Looking at our weather matrix, again, remember, this is a generalized forecast for the entire incident. It is not your official forecast. Your official forecast is in your IAP. But I did want to point out the 4 red boxes. Temperatures are going to be warm. Humidity is going to be low. Southwest winds are going to pick up around 2 p.m. and really get going about 4 p.m. with sustained winds of 20 with gusts of 30. So be aware, conditions are going to change rapidly this afternoon. They are going to quiet down tonight, but they are going to pick up once again tomorrow, earlier in the day, and lasting longer through the day. So a lot of very dynamic weather changes are coming, and some of these winds, even though the predominant direction is going to be southwest, they're going to be funneled through the canyons, they're going to be funneled through the gaps. So be aware, the smoke is going to clear out, winds are going to increase, and the fire, well, I'll let Brian tell you what the fire is going to do. Thank you.
Fire behavior, Brian Newman.
Okay, good morning. I just want to reiterate, red flag warning today from 3 p.m. through the remainder of your shift through tomorrow at 10 p.m. If you're new here, make sure you look at your IEP on the page behind the fire behavior forecast for the fuels and fire behavior advisory. Gives you an idea what kind of fuel conditions that we've been dealing with and fire behavior conditions we've been dealing with here. So we're going to start off the shift today in the conditions you're seeing right now. We still have smoke over the fire, similar to that we've seen over the handful of days that we've been here. So your activity will be moderated to start the day, but it'll kind of be like a switch today. As that southwest wind starts to pick up, it's going to start clearing that smoke out, and you're going to have a quick shift of fire activity as southwest wind starts pushing across the fire. So on the far west side, over in the Lake Branch, Juliet, Kilo, Lima area, you're going to be favored on that wind initially, so it's going to be pushing stuff inward on there. So there is still some heat on the ground in there, and there's still some activity, but overall should not challenge control lines just based on our overall winds. As you get further north into Nora, Papa area, you're going to see some of those channeling winds, those southwest winds that are going to come across. Remember, that's our general wind across the fire, but locally on the ground, you're going to see channeled and wind moved around by the topography. As you get around the north part, Papa, Romeo, Tango, you're going to start seeing some of that wind challenge your control lines out there. So it's going to come across this flats area out here, and you're going to have some challenges out there. Down into the clear branch, especially in these upper elevations, you're going to start seeing that wind come on a little earlier, and it will start to scour out that smoke, and it'll start to challenge our control lines in that area as well. One thing to take note for those of you who have been here for the time that we've been here, last 8-9 days, none of this fire north of Highway 36 has been wind tested. All of the fire activity we've had up to this point has been fuel-driven fire that has run on either a bit of topography or with some outflow winds off the thunderstorms, but no sustained winds. Today is the first day that we're going to see some sustained winds across the fire that we've had north of Highway 36. So your spotting distance is half mile, 1 mile, could be much further, especially in the wind-prone areas, into the channeled areas 36 corridor, up towards 821 and 44, and especially up here in the higher topography in the Clear Branch area. So just be really heads up on that, and just be aware of your topography, where you are in the fire, where the fire is compared to you, and that uptick of activity that we're going to expect today. The one advantage, as that wind comes up, it starts to clear that smoke out, should have opportunities for aircraft to get going earlier today. So please take all that in consideration and have a good shift.
Safety Officer Damon Godden.
Good morning. Please use page 6 through 9 for briefing when you brief your crews today. Pay special attention to the briefing that this leadership is going to give you in your breakouts. Very important instructions, a lot of dynamic, a lot of moving parts, and a lot of changes to the plan as the weather changes in the fire behavior. Speaking of fire behavior, make sure that you have LCES in place, and if you change your assignment, make sure your crews have LCES in place again. Maintain that the entire shift. Additionally, watch out for rolling material. Keep your head on a swivel. We have 14 safety officers on the line today, and we're available over in Trader Low if you need anything from them. Thank you.
Operations Mark Brunton.
Good morning. Welcome back for all you folks who've been with us so far throughout this incident, and for all you new folks, welcome to the Dixie incident. The fire is split into 2 zones. We have the west and east zone. East zone is currently being managed by Interagency Incident Management Team 4, who is now transitioning with Interagency Incident Management Team 1, who will be taking over that part of the fire starting tomorrow. West zone is being managed right now by Calfire Incident Management Team 3. In the west zone, we have it broken into 3 sectors. We have the Butte sector, Lassen sector, and Westwood sector. Within each sector, there are a number of branches. Under those branches, divisions and groups. Been a lot of changes regarding our organizational structure based on the current and expected fire behavior. So please be patient with us as we're getting through that reorganization and some change in leadership. I'll be going through the roll call. Team 3 roll call down to division soup level. One of the first sector, the Butte sector, they are not here. They are down in the Butte area, so they will not be in person, but are getting this telecast. So starting in the Butte sector will be Tapia, and then the divisions overseen by Cassoni. The personnel that are here, we have the Lassen sector, which has our Deputy Chief, Ops Section Chief Bohal. Here. Branch 9 is Ham. Here. Division Kilo, Perry. Division Lima, Reese. Yep. Branch 13, Hispanic. Yep. And Clemec. Yep. Division November, Oscar and Papa are up in the park. Contingency Group English. Yep. Lassen IA is Bunch. Yep. Branch 16, Boston. Yep. Division Romeo, Swope. Yep. Division Tango will be a write-in. Division Uniform, Spindler. Yep. Lassen Heavy Equipment Group, Volmer. Yep. Moving now on to the Westwood sector, Deputy Operations Section Chief Norman. Yep. Lake will only consist today of Division Juliet will be led by strike team leader from 9170, Charlie Delamonica. Moving into the clear branch will be Smith. 147 group, Grendel. Meadow group, Zimmerman. Duffy group, Pangburn. Westwood will be Schmidt. Susanville branch will be Lovelace. River group, Garcia. Gold group, McTeague. Moving into the Janesville branch will be Gaines. Deputy branch, Ehrlich. Richmond group, McGovern. Wildcat group, Brady. The remainder of those groups will be fills. Fire suppression repair is down in the Butte sector, and that'll be Derby, and staging will be Montiel. Okay, our objectives for each sector. In the Lassen sector, number 1, lock down that corner of 89 and 36 where we have that lightning strike that's turned into a little bit more of a monster for us. We need to lock that down so that we don't have any further spread of that fire to the west or to the south. Second, the Warner Valley and Drakesbad area. Third, the west flank, maintaining the fire from spread to the west, then the east, and then the north. Moving on to the priorities for Westwood. The Peninsula and Westwood communities being our number 1 priority as we see and hear about all these shifts in the wind and the potential with the fire that we've been experiencing over the past number of days. Second is to maintain and lock down that Division Juliet area, and then prep of the Duffy group and the Susanville branch areas. Another note, please check and please read page 76 of your IEP. That's the read message. Very important. There's a lot of historical and cultural sites throughout this place that we need to make sure that we identify and that we do not cause any sort of damage to. It has in there all the instructions to it. Also, the lead read, Jake, has done a fantastic job not only putting together that message, but to keep it from being a dry, bland message. He's put in a little bit of history, so if you're a bit of a history buff like myself, it's some nice little nuggets in there to take, to figure out what's not only going on, why that site is there, but a little bit of history behind it. So that's kind of a good message. Please look at that. Okay, you've heard from IMET, you've heard from the FBAN, you've heard from safety. Okay, we are going to be seeing some significant changes today and into tomorrow. Okay, things are going to change dramatically. For those of you who've been here, we've seen a number of changes through the past week. It's been a bit of a roller coaster ride for you folks that are new. It's no joke, okay? This fire, as you can see, is a monster. It didn't get that way by just a simple burn. We've got the historic fire conditions. We've got these weather conditions that are challenging us, okay? So we've got to be focused on this. We've got to maintain our discipline. We've got to take the initiative. I talked about initiative yesterday and the importance of that. Take that initiative. And we need to maintain focus like champions today. Thank you.
Air Operations, Matt Stanford.
Good morning. If you go to page 58 and 59, you'll find all air assets. Yesterday we dropped over 60,000 gallons of water, 50,000 gallons of retardant, all out of helicopters. Remember, when working in the East Zone, use East Zone air to ground to contact air assets. When working in the West Zone, use West Zone air to ground to contact air assets. Once again, when the air clears today, we're expecting a very heavy air presence of helicopters and tankers. So please get out of the drop zone areas. Be safe. Today we'll have the VLAT, ASM, Air Attack, 2 tankers, the scoopers available. We still have over 30 helicopters flying out of 4 helibases, 2 in the East Zone, 2 in the West Zone. If you have any medical emergencies, please follow the medical plan. Let's have a good day.
Communication, Corey Costa.
Hi, good morning. Corey Costa, Communications Student Trainee for the Dixie Fire West Zone. There's no new clone today. If you have had your radio cloned in the last 3 days, you're good to go. If you are new to the incident or you've checked out a radio, then stop by Communications. We'll get you cloned and we'll get you squared away. Your communications plan, your 205s, are going to be found on page 60 and 61 for the West Zone, page 62 for the east zone, and then the map for our radio group zones will be found on page 63. Remember, use of frequencies on your comm plan is authorized. Any use of frequencies not on your comm plan is unauthorized. We tried to break this map up to try to give you a better idea of where your group zones are for the size of this fire. As you can see, west zone is up to your top left, and the west zone is also to your right, and then east zone is down on your right. Any questions, come by communications. We'll help you out, get you squared away, what zone you need to be in, and anything else. We're down at the end of Main Street, right by Supply. Be safe, have a good shift.
Medical, Kevin Fortney.
Good morning. You're going to find your 206 on page 65 this morning. Again, box 8 information at the bottom of the 206. The left side's the procedure, the right side's the information we need to get you the resources to mitigate your issue. This will be broken down for you by your divisions in the breakouts, but you need to make sure that you get it back all the way down to the firefighter level. CalMat is still in camp here, just beyond the chow line between comms and chow. And my trailer's on Trailer Row. My number is at the bottom of the 206. If you have any questions during your shift, please feel free to call. Have a safe shift.
Training, Justin Voisin.
Good morning. Your training message is located on page 66 in your IAP. If you're a trainee and you haven't registered yet, come please see me as soon as possible. I'll be available directly after briefing, or you can utilize a QR code at the bottom of page 66. My trailer is located directly behind you, just past the incident trailer. If you checked in with the training specialist in Chico, there's no need to come see me again. Just come see me prior to demob and I'll close you out. If you're getting close to timing out, doing a crew swap, demobbing, let's get your documentation done early. I'll need to see your position task book, an evaluation record, and an ICS 225. If you need blank forms of anything, I have those available in my trailer. And my telephone number and email address is at the bottom of page 66. Give me a call if you have any questions. Thank you.
Information, Dan Olson.
Good morning, everyone. If you turn to page 68 in your IAP, I have the latest numbers for you pertaining to the Dixie fire. Current acreage is 569,707. Containment is at 31%. And total of personnel assigned to this incident is 6,519. Please share this information if you come in contact with the public or media. In terms of media, there probably you'll see an uptick in presence of the media along the fire line with the increase in forecasted activity. We do have a social media policy. Please adhere to it. Again, if you have any photos or videos, there's an email link at the very bottom of the page. Please send them to us so we can share that. And then lost and found has been established, as well as mail service at the PIO trailer. Thanks and be safe.
Unit Chief Scott Packwood.
Good morning, Scott Packwood, Unit Chief Lassimodoc. A couple things. This year, you've all heard about the severe conditions in the drought, and what we've been seeing here in the unit is we've been trending about 4 to 6 weeks ahead of normal with our fuels and fire behavior conditions. So back in about June 30th, we had the Beckworth complex start, and we were witnessing fire behavior and fuels conditions that were representative of mid-August, where we are right now, at our highest critical, most active part of fire season. So we're 6 weeks into or past our most critical fire behavior. That's what you're going to experience starting this week. And it's kind of territory we've never been into before. So that Beckworth complex went 100,000 acres, started June 30th. And that's typically the size fire we have that would start right now. So we have 200 miles of active fire line that we're going into territory we haven't even been before. The other thing is the wind. The wind that is forecast is pretty typical after some lightning weather. We get a normal southwest wind, usually not quite at the wind speeds that are predicted, the 25. And when it made the big runs that you see, the northern arm and the eastern finger that runs out there, that happened on basically day 2 of that wind, and that wind starts about 1,400 and goes until about sundown, about 1930, 2000. So start paying attention about 1300 of what's going on out there, where you're at, what you're looking at, where your escape routes are, and all that stuff. Everybody's already mentioned that, but you have about a 5 to 6 hour window where the fire's going to do what it's going to do. What you have to take advantage of is that other 15, 16, 18 hours where it lays back down, and you got to pick up the small stuff so it doesn't become the big stuff the next day. So be careful during that active afternoon period when the wind's really blowing. It's going to do what it's going to do. Get out of its way, make sure you're safe, but re-engage once it lays back down, because we really have to pick up the small stuff so we don't have another day of big stuff. Because the second day of that, after we lose our ground that we already gained, is when we really get our butts kicked. So just encouraging you not to feel defeated, re-engage when it happens, and get after that small stuff that you can take care of. So have a safe day, be super heads up. Thank you.
Okay, a couple of reminders as far as unassigned resources. We've moved them. They'll be over here. We've done a little bit of organizational change as far as breakouts. In the back will be the Lassen sector. Over here off to my left, behind the stage, will be the Westwood sector. So just make sure you report to the right location. Cooperators meeting will be at 0900 hours in the same spot down here on the right. Planning meeting will be same spot as yesterday, down on the right at 1700 hours. Your next operational briefing will be here tomorrow at 0700. Just a reminder, briefing starts at 0700. Please arrive early. We appreciate it. Closing comments, Unified IC, Billy C. and Jay Lusher.
Good morning. Thank you for all the effort, dedication, and professionalism you've all shown so far. For those of you who are new, we expect the same. We're currently in a very complex situation. Complexity is a lot of independent factors that, as they change, affect an outcome. When those independent factors overwhelm the current system, we move into chaos. Expect chaos today. You've heard a lot of factors with the weather, the fuels, the complicated situation. The way we move back out of chaos and back into a complex situation is through leadership, communication, and working together. Thank you.
Hi, good morning. Obviously, we briefed you on what the potential outcome may be, what the conditions you're going to face today. Pay attention to that first page in the IAP, the 202. There's a strategic objective in there, give you some guiding principles to operate with. For the fireground leadership, today's and tomorrow, the decisions you make out on the line are going to positively affect the outcome of this entire incident. Make good, sound decisions with the number one priority of everyone maintaining safety first. Concentrate on your engagement. Disengage when necessary. When the safety risks override the benefits, re-engage and continue to gain ground. Everyone's done a great job this far. 30 plus days on an incident is becoming the norm now here in California. The field conditions are worse than we've ever seen. The fire behavior is worse than we've ever seen. It's not unprecedented anymore, it's the norm. This is the life and conditions we live in. Stay engaged today, be aggressive, think about the communities that are being impacted, maintain your situational awareness, look out for each and every one that's sitting in this camp and is out on the line. Because at the end of the day, we want everyone to go home safe. Thank you.
That concludes your operational briefing. Just a reminder, the Lassen sector will be in the back and the Westwood sector will be over here off to my left through the fence. Thank you.